Welcome back to SSA Talks. If you receive Social Security retirement benefits, SSI or SSDI, you may have noticed something concerning recently. Your deposit showed up later than usual. It sat as pending longer than expected. You could see it posted in your account, but you could not access the full amount. This is happening to beneficiaries across the country, and today I am going to explain exactly what is going on and what you can do about it. Let me clear something up immediately. This is not a Social Security benefit cut. This is not the government reducing your payment. This is not SSA clawing back money or putting your benefits under review. What is happening is quieter than that, which is exactly why it is catching so many people off guard. The change is occurring after Social Security sends your payment. Specifically, it involves how banks are handling deposits once the money enters the banking system. For people living on fixed incomes, timing is not just a minor detail. Timing is survival. Rent, utilities, groceries, and prescriptions are often assigned the moment your money arrives. Even a half-day delay can trigger overdraft fees, late charges, and significant stress. Here is what has not changed. Social Security is still sending payments on schedule. The SSA payment calendar remains the same. Wednesday payment groups are still Wednesday. SSI is still paid according to the established schedule. COLA adjustments, benefit calculations, and eligibility rules have not changed because of this issue. What is different is what happens after SSA releases your money. The payment travels through the banking system, and that final step, when you can actually use the funds, is where some beneficiaries are experiencing delays. Think of it this way. Social Security sends the package. Your bank decides when you are allowed to open it. Over the past several months, many banks have quietly tightened their internal processing rules. This was not caused by new legislation or changes at SSA. These are bank-level policy updates, often tied to fraud prevention, identity verification, compliance requirements, and updated processing systems. Government deposits like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits are getting caught up in these changes more than expected. That is why two people in the same town can have completely different experiences. One person sees their deposit hit at the usual early morning hour. Another sees it appear in the afternoon. Someone else sees it stuck as pending overnight. Same payment date, same program, different bank handling. This is where many people get confused, and understanding this distinction is critical. When a deposit is marked as posted, it means the bank has received the funds and logged them in your account. The transaction exists and is acknowledged, but posted does not always mean available. Available means you can actually spend the money, withdraw it, transfer it, use your debit card, or have bills successfully pull against it. Sometimes there is a gap between these two stages. It might be a few hours, or it might stretch to the next business day. That gap is what is catching people off guard and causing overdraft fees when automatic payments pull before the available balance updates. Let me share some examples of what beneficiaries are reporting. A retiree who usually receives their Wednesday deposit around 3 a.m. during overnight processing found that this month the deposit did not appear until early afternoon. The payment was still on time by SSA standards, but it disrupted rent drafts and insurance payments scheduled for the morning. An SSDI recipient who normally receives around $1,200 to $2,500 per month received a large retroactive back payment of $8,000 to $12,000 after an approval. The bank system flagged the large deposit as potentially high risk simply because it was an unusual amount, so it was held for verification. The payment was not rejected. The money was not being taken away, but the delay caused significant anxiety. Users of online-only banks and prepaid card accounts are also experiencing timing shifts. These systems are heavily automated, and when fraud detection algorithms get updated, deposits that used to clear at midnight might now clear at noon without any human involvement in the transaction. Banks are updating how they process electronic deposits, especially government payments moving through the ACH system. The simple payment chain works like this. First, Social Security sends the payment electronically on the scheduled date. Second, the payment moves through the ACH network, which is the electronic pipeline banks use. Third, your bank receives the payment and decides how quickly to release it into your available balance. Step 1 has not changed. SSA is sending money on schedule. Step 3 is where beneficiaries are feeling the difference. For years, some institutions made government deposits available almost instantly. Some even marketed early access as a selling point. But that early availability was always a bank feature, not a Social Security guarantee. Banks can change those features without warning, even if they worked the same way for years. Not everyone will notice changes. Some people will see deposits hit exactly as they always have. But certain groups are reporting more timing issues right now. SSI recipients are particularly affected because SSI often arrives at the start of the month, and many people schedule essential bills to pull immediately. If availability shifts even briefly, it can cause late fees, overdrafts, or shut-off fears. SSDI recipients receiving back pay or adjustments are also at higher risk. Large one-time deposits are classic triggers for automated verification reviews, not because anything is wrong with the claim, but because large deposits are common fraud targets. People using online-only banks or prepaid debit cards may experience more unpredictable timing. Joint accounts and accounts with recent profile updates are also more likely to face verification holds. Adding a spouse, caregiver, or adult child, updating a name after marriage, adding power of attorney, or changing beneficiaries can increase verification checks around deposits. Even small changes matter. A new phone number, new address, or logging in from a new device can flag an account for additional review when combined with a government deposit arriving shortly afterward. Let me address the misinformation that spreads whenever issues like this occur. No, Social Security is not holding your money. No, your benefits are not automatically under review because the deposit took longer. No, this is not a freeze, seizure, or secret audit. No, you did not do something wrong because it did not clear instantly. There is no new federal rule giving banks the power to seize your Social Security or delay it indefinitely. Federal protections for Social Security benefits still exist. Banks cannot seize those funds for typical consumer debts like credit cards, medical bills, or personal loans. What banks can do is apply temporary holds for verification, and while frustrating, these holds are usually short. For most people, delays are measured in hours, maybe up to the next business day, not weeks, and not permanent loss. Here are the common mistakes that often create bigger problems. Do not switch banks immediately out of fear. New accounts trigger new verification steps and can delay future deposits. Do not open multiple accounts, hoping one clears faster. That can look suspicious and invite more review. Do not start moving large amounts between accounts right after a government deposit arrives. Rapid transfers can trip fraud alerts. Do not assume SSA made an error before checking with your bank first. Most of the time, the payment was sent correctly. If your deposit is posted but not available, wait and recheck later that day or the next morning. In many cases, holds clear within 6 to 24 hours. If it is still not available the next business day, call your bank and ask a targeted question. Do not lead with an angry demand. Instead, say something like, I see my Social Security deposit posted on this date, but it is not showing in my available balance. Is it under routine verification? And when should full access be released? That wording signals you understand the process and gets you a clearer answer. Many representatives can tell you when the hold lifts, and sometimes they can expedite if you explain that bills are due. If the deposit does not show at all after the scheduled payment date has fully passed, and there is no record, not even pending, then contact Social Security to confirm the payment release date and verify your direct deposit information. If your bills are set to auto pay on deposit day, consider pushing them back 1 or 2 days. That small buffer can prevent overdrafts and late charges. Many landlords, utilities, and service providers will adjust your draft date if you ask, especially if you have paid reliably. Moving rent from the 1st to the 3rd, for example, gives your deposit time to fully clear. Set deposit alerts in your bank app so you know when the payment arrives. But remember, an alert does not always mean funds are immediately usable. Always check the available balance before spending or allowing bills to pull. If you have been relying on early pay features, shift your planning to the official payment date. Treat early access as a bonus, not a guarantee. Make sure your information matches everywhere. Social Security should have your correct name, address, and contact details. Your bank should have the same up-to-date information. Even small mismatches can increase the chance of a verification hold. For most people, this issue is temporary and about access timing, not lost benefits. Banks are adjusting their systems because fraud is more sophisticated than ever, and the industry is tightening controls across digital payments. Government deposits are receiving extra scrutiny because criminals target them, and banks are trying to prevent theft before it happens. Here is what has not changed and will not change because of bank policies. The Social Security payment calendar still stands. Eligibility rules have not been rewritten. Your benefit amount is not reduced because of bank processing. SSA is not secretly delaying payments. Social Security sends the money as scheduled. The shift is happening afterward, inside the banking system. The key takeaway is simple. This is about timing and availability, not losing what you are owed. Once you plan for that reality by building in a small buffer, checking your available balance, and asking the right questions, you stay in control instead of getting blindsided. If you have noticed deposits arriving later, staying pending longer, or early access features stopping, you are not alone. This is happening to beneficiaries across the country. Understanding the difference between posted and available, and knowing that bank policies, not SSA policies, are causing the timing shifts, helps you protect your budget and avoid unnecessary fees. You earned these benefits. They are part of your financial foundation. Understanding how deposits move through the system today helps you protect that foundation tomorrow. This is SSA Talks. We provide calm, clear explanations of changes that affect your benefits. Share this with someone who has been worried about their deposit timing, and we will continue bringing you the facts without the fear.